All right, but I think you're ready now, right?
I'm good. Ready?
All right. He's a Basketball Hall of Famer and the subject of the new ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. Dennis Rodman here with us on SportsCenter. Good to see you, my man.
How you doing?
The film moves chronologically through your life, so I figured that would be a good way to do this, where we can just get your reaction to things that we see. Let's start with your upbringing in Dallas. How did that shape you as a person?
Well, as you can see, I guess a lot, so nails, whatever nails, but I'm pretty much the same person, but you say 45 years older. That's about it, but inside I'm the same person, kind of a shy guy, probably a loner, but what you see is pretty much what you see on TV, but more like outside of TV, I'm pretty much just a loner.
Your father wasn't around, but your mom and your sister gave you some structure in your life. But it was a atypical upbringing for a young boy.
Right. It was difficult. Like I said, a lot of people don't see 30 for 30. A lot of people that grew up in my era gonna notice that the fact that we all grew up the same way, pretty much around in the project community, and we did the same things and stuff like that. And she had a hard time raising us how to love us, how to touch us, how to give us love and stuff like that. But we thought that was normal.
Right.
And for me, it was more like it was difficult because there was no male figure in my household. So most families didn't have a male figure.
Then you discovered basketball at a time in your life when it seemed like you really needed something to give you some structure, and then there it was. What did the game mean to you when you first discovered you had a talent for it?
Well, I just thought it was just a sport. I didn't think I could make money from it. I thought I'd just go out there and play with all the other kids. And I just went every day. I realized that I was scoring. I was at 5'7", 5'8". I said about a year later, I was 6'8".
Right.
And I started to like the game of basketball. I love football first, living in Texas, as we said earlier. Living in Texas, you got to be a Texas breed football player.
Okay.
So I started to play basketball, and I started to get interested into it, and I got really good at it. So I stuck to it.
What did that do for you personally, though? Finding something you were good at that brought admiration and brought respect?
Well, it gave me an escape. It gave me an escape to look forward to something that was positive, because everything in the neighborhood was more bad, negative. No desire to do anything but to do what we was doing in the projects. But I didn't imagine to be having the opportunity to go play college basketball, because who's gonna come down in the projects to go watch a skinny black kid out of nowhere and for nothing? Who? I didn't expect that.
So you get to Southeastern Oklahoma, and then a few years later, there you are in the NBA. But I don't think a lot of people know. I didn't know that you were 26 when you got to the NBA, but still 26. Very shy.
Very shy still.
And now you're into this whole new world. What was that transition like for you?
It was very different. No one prepared me to do or to be an athlete in the NBA.
Yeah.
In a little town, 14,000, going to 14,000, like maybe 1 million people, and all of a sudden you throw me into the wolves.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to act, how to think, how to breathe, how to dress, or anything as far as a professionalism.
Yeah.
But I learned very quickly, to conduct myself as an athlete or just be something that's positive for the community of Detroit.
Was there any particular time or incident in Detroit that made you say, wait a minute, I don't know what I'm really into here when you first got there?
No, I just knew that I had, when I first went to Detroit, I had pneumonia. And I was so nervous just to be there. I came down with a pneumonia that day.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I remember saying something at the press conference. I was so sick. And John started to speak and said, well, he's the first round draft choice, 13 pick overall. Next thing you know, I'll go to the podium. I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. I should be the #1 pick. And I was actually serious about that, So he's like, oh, man, okay, great. And I think that's two things I remember as far as being in Detroit the first year.
Then in the film, when they show you when you win the Defensive Player of the Year, okay. Now I followed your whole career. Right. I never have seen you smile like that. I mean, you were giddy.
Right.
Do you remember what that felt like when you were honored as Defensive Player of the Year?
I just felt like that I accomplished something so important to me because I believe if you're going to do something, do it real well.
Yeah.
And go all out and give you 120%. And for me to go out there and knowing the fact that I didn't let my teammates down, I didn't let the city down, and I wanted it so bad that I worked for it. I didn't just go out there and say, okay, give it to me. I worked for that. It just made me feel so good to do that because as growing up, you had to work for everything you got.
Yeah.
And in college, same thing. Living on a farm, same thing. And when I went to the NBA, same thing. I was so happy for that.
In a town like Detroit, too, when you do the basketball dirty work, defense and rebounding, I mean, that's how you win their love in Detroit. Right. What was that love, that connection that you had with the fans there? What was that like?
I think people probably would see it in 30 for 30 that when I tried to speak at the rally at the Palace, I couldn't speak because that's how much I felt loved in Detroit. But for me, I think I needed that because I was so pretty much alone, still a loner, because I was just coming from Oklahoma. I didn't have no family. Left those guys in Dallas, but the Detroit Pistons made me as a whole, put me in that family. And Chuck Daly, love and bless his soul. And I just love being in Detroit because it gave me a purpose to live and a purpose to strive.
Then in 1993, there's the incident. It's been well chronicled. You had the gun. You're in your truck outside the palace, and I mean, did you seriously contemplate taking your life?
Oh yeah, I wrote a note to my girlfriend at the time, and a friend of mine. I was learning to play drums. I left a note there. I didn't know what I wrote. I wrote something like, I don't know what to do. Who do I trust anymore? I thought that this was supposed to be a family. I thought they're supposed to love me, and why did they abandon me? I think I left something like that on the table, and I got in my pickup truck, and I had a gun in my gun rack. That's kind of funny, but and I went to the Palace. That's the only place I knew that was safe for me because that's where I started my career. Yeah. And I went in the parking lot. I just picked a spot, and I took the gun from the gun rack, got it, put it in my lap like this. I had it like this, and I guess I turned the radio on, the CD on, turned it on, and all of a sudden I was hearing this song. It was saying, "Release me." Oh. It was Pearl Jam. Okay. It was Pearl Jam, and it's the "Release Me" Black, and for some reason I fell asleep. Yeah. Listening to Pearl Jam, and when I woke up, I mean, in a panic, I thought that something happened, but it was me, and it's nothing but cops. Helicopters, this. I mean, everything. I'm like, what happened? What happened? I forgot I had a gun in my hand. What I was there for, the purpose I was there for. And when I came to, I realized, I said, oh my God. I just totally forgot I was thinking about suicide.
Mm-hmm. Could that situation have turned out different and you not be sitting here today?
Well, I think that, and I wouldn't say right situation. I think some early reason. I think somebody had something to do with that. Somebody had their hand on my shoulder and said, "Don't do this. Don't do this. You got something left for life." Now I actually believe that because my whole life it's been like that. Yeah. I've been in those situations where I've been through, if it's life or death, for me, because sometimes I feel hopeless and lonely sometimes because I didn't know what love felt like at all, as far as growing up or even playing in the NBA.
When you look back on this now, 26 years later, you have any idea who that person might have been, the angel who was there to save you?
Till today, I do not know why I'm still living, because I've done so much. Yeah. And I feel like that I'm just giving so much of my life. I have never had the time, the opportunity to feel, to look at myself first. And I've taken it out on my kids, I've taken it on the people that love me, and it's like, wow, Dennis, okay, great. Now it's time for you to respect yourself now. And people are gonna see this in 30 for 30, see how I really am as a person. All the glitz and glamour and all the makeup, all cross-dressing and stuff like that. That was for me, for entertainment for me, to find out who I really was. And then when you actually see that guy, you're like, wow, that's really him, huh? Yeah. And this is a very, very good story that people can cherish, seriously.
Another part people will be interested in is the relationship with Madonna. How did that?
I just gotta go there.
How did that affect your life? I mean, look, it's a part of the story. It's a part of the Dennis Rodman story.
Part of the Dennis Rodman story. Yeah. Well, it didn't affect too much. We had, it's the Disney program. Is it Disney?
Yeah, it's Sports Center.
Sports Center?
We can edit as necessary.
Okay, edit? Okay. All right, I want to say the wrong things, but people want to get to the neck of it. But, yeah, I did Madonna. It was a great time. We was thinking about having children together, but it didn't. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But she was a cool woman. I like her style. We could have made it, but it's one of those things where I didn't agree that I pretty much didn't like her music in the beginning, and she liked my style. And everyone said that she really created Dennis Rodman. As far as persona, all the makeup, all the tattoos, all the piercings, and I'm like, no, I did Dennis Rodman myself.
Yeah. Did she give you a sense of freedom though to see somebody who was sort of a maverick on her own? Did that help you to feel like I can be more myself and express myself that way?
I think Madonna saw me as a kid in a candy store. I was trying to find my way.
Yeah.
She's already done it.
Okay.
And then she saw this young kid. When I was young, I was like maybe 30, 31. I was just coming out the box. I was coming out the shell. I was coming out the closet pretty much. And I think she saw a guy like, wow, he's very somewhat attractive, got a nice body, besides all this is nothing. But I think she saw me coming out as being free. And I figured that was more attractive to her than anything else. And but I'm glad the fact that I met someone like Madonna. She was very creative. She's very outgoing. She's very free. So basically, I think we had something in common.
There were several people in the film who said they didn't want to be a psychologist, didn't want to portray a psychologist, and claim to know what's going on with Dennis Rodman authoritatively. Right. But there was a common speculation that the tattoos and the piercings and the whole persona is used as a mechanism to protect you, to protect the person that's inside. How true is that?
Well, they think that I've been doing this because I'm hiding something. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to cover up something about my life and about who I am.
Or maybe just protect yourself.
Well, protect myself, but I don't think so. I just think it's more like I feel like there was more of an outlet for me because when I have negative things happen in my life, I seem to want to hurt myself physically, and I think that the tattoos more symbolizes that. I think I really didn't want tattoos in the beginning. I just think there was something to take the pain away for me inside here mentally wise, because living that childhood and growing up and people want to love you and leave, people want to love you and leave, people want to love you and leave, and all. I do the same thing in my personal life, and I'm just trying to find a way of sense of ability to understand Dennis Rodman, but I can't because I'm looking for him too.
Yeah. Then you get to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And there's equal amounts on-court success and just craziness off the court.
Right.
Are you surprised that you were able to survive that lifestyle that you had in Chicago?
And again, you guys should watch this 30 for 30. You go see. You should watch it because I can't explain it as you're gonna see.
40 shots of Jägermeister.
Oh boy. Well,
and then went to practice the next day or a game the next day.
Boy, I used to do things people wish they can do, but I survived that. I used to do, play the game, ride the bicycle, work out after the game, go to Gibson Steakhouse, then go to a club, strip club first, then bar, then go have about 10, 15, 20, 30 shots of Jägermeister, Coors Light, go home by 5 o'clock in the morning, get up at 9:30, go to practice, work out, do my job, and do it all over again the next day. But the one thing I didn't do, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone tell you about Chicago, I never drank before a game. I always kept that one day open. That way, if I just sober up or just be on point for me to do one thing, go play a game and win. So, but I did party all the time. I had a good time doing it.
Yeah, were there situations where your teammates had to intervene and say, look, Dennis, we need you here?
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm not embarrassed to say that.
yeah.
I'm not embarrassed.
Was it Jordan?
I think it was just Phil Jackson. I think Michael came in one time and said, Dennis, we like you, we love you. We just want you to just slow down on the going out almost every night and stuff like that. And they actually helped me a lot. I think the second year and the third year that I was having a good time, but for me to survive that, I had to work out every day. I didn't take no drugs. I didn't take any substance besides alcohol, but I wasn't drinking alcohol 24/7. I was just doing it after games. But they sat me down and said, Dennis, we want you here to enjoy it, and we just kind of cut back a little bit. So I actually did cut back, and I survived 3 years in Chicago.
Yeah.
And the party life and the women and everything else. So I'm here.
Yeah. Look, if there's a party in my life, I've been to a lot of parties. There's a party in my life that I wish I had been to. It was Crowbar after the '98 Eastern Conference Finals. The party bus going back and forth between Indianapolis and Chicago.
Right.
And I remember Amar Rashad talking about it during the broadcast of that game.
Right.
I imagine that was quite a party.
It was a good party. Good, safe fun, though.
All right,
good,
okay.
Safe fun.
All right. So when you look back on everything, your career, your life up to this point, anything you would do different?
No.
Why not?
Because most of the things I've done in my life, it's been misunderstood. I think
It's right there on the shirt.
yeah, pretty much misunderstood right here. So basically, that's one of the things I'm coming out this year. Love Ugly, so pretty much my company. But it's very difficult because every time I do anything that's right, that's good, people want to make it so bad, and then when I do something bad, they make it worse.
Right.
And it's like sometimes you want to sit there and contemplate, why am I living? Why am I here? I'm trying to do the right things. I'm trying to make people happy. I'm trying to do things that people can love me for and stuff like that. And you're going to see, I use the word love so much, the caring so much, but I don't get it in my life in this whole 30 for 30. But it's going to show this disability of an athlete that's looking for it, that's looking for something, looking for some type of engagement with anything in the world to fit in with. And people are going to really be intrigued by this. And you're going to see a lot of athletes and a lot of youth of the world going to really connect to this film.
Yep.
And I said, wow, we thought they had it easy. No, I fought a lot of demons, a lot of demons. And I've been paying for it, and hopefully that I've learned from my mistakes.
Yeah.
And I'm not drinking right now. I'm trying to hopefully maintain a good clear-headed mind.
Yeah.
And try to be a better father to my kids. That's the main thing I want to do, be a better father. Hello, Trinity. Hello, Alexis. Hello, DJs. All right. Dad's still alive. He's still alive, so alive and well. So anyway, good luck to my son in Washington State. See you soon. But that's my main goal, just to try to be a very humble individual and care about people that loves me.
How you feel your time now in retirement? What do you do for fun? What do you do?
Well, think about trying to live the days I have left now. Because I've lived so much. I've lived this life to the fullest.
Yes, you have.
And yes, I have. I love people out there know it, So, but I'm just very fortunate. I'm just very, very lucky that people out there that really love me and always still thinking about Dennis Rodman.
Yep.
In a good light, not in a bad way. And all the people that helped me so much. Thank you, all you guys out there. You know who you are. And it's been a wonderful ride for me. Wonderful ride. I will never change it for nothing in the world. The only thing I want to change is try to understand how to love my kids more than I do now. That's the main thing. Everything else don't mean nothing to me. If I can achieve that, I've achieved everything I wanted in my life. Forget about the accolades, forget about the money, forget about the fame. If I can do that, I'm cool. I'm happy, I'm content.
Now, I can't have you here and not ask you about Kim Jong-un. because no, when you think about it, you say, okay, now here's this country.
You can't help but to ask that question.
Here's this country on the other side of the world, a closed society.
Right.
Who is probably the last person who would ever get to visit that country and befriend its leader, Dennis Rodman? But then when you think about it, you're like, well, it makes perfect sense in the context of everything else about Dennis Rodman.
That's a good shot, right? That's a good shot. Okay, yeah.
How did that all come about?
It was just, I guess, a request from the Harlem Globetrotters. They was playing an exhibition game in North Korea, And it was one of those things where it just happened to be that Kim Jong-un loved the Chicago Bulls. And they asked me, and my agency asked me, saying, Dennis, you would like to go to North Korea?
Not Michael Jordan, not Scottie Pippen.
They wanted Dennis Rodman.
They wanted Dennis Rodman.
And for me, I thought it was more like, okay, great, I'll go. You know, I think it's like an autograph show or like, you know, just going to play an exhibition game, basketball. Yeah. So, but, well, long story short, I got there, I sat on the bench, I didn't play, and they came and got me. I went up in the stands and sat there on a table. He comes out, and I thought they was applauding me. They stood up, started applauding. Everybody's 20-some thousand people standing up, applauding, looking towards me, and they was crying. Everyone was crying. It was like, oh my God! I'm like, I'm thinking they applauding me.
Yeah.
And the guy said, no, that guy right there. And I still didn't know who he was. This short little Asian guy comes out, walks out, doing this stuff right here. I said, who is this guy? He said, that's our leader. I said, who's the leader? He said, that's Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
I said, all right, great. I said, who is that? I said,
I got his name now.
I got his name now, but who is that? He said, that's Rudolph. That's the leader of our country. I said, all right, great. A little short guy like this. And he comes over and sits beside me, and we start a beautiful friendship. And all he wanted to do was talk about basketball.
Okay.
You know, about the Chicago Bulls. And then he asked me a question. He said, Dennis, I want you to do one thing for me. I said, what is that? Interpreters, I'm doing this. I said, what is that? He said, I like to go to Madison Square Garden. I said, Madison Square Garden? We live in Chicago.
Right.
That's what I told him. We live in Chicago, not Madison Square Garden. He said, I know, but I just know that stadium, Madison Square Garden. He said, would you take me there? I said, if you're allowed to go, I'll take you.
Right.
He said, okay, great. So after that, we got a beautiful relationship as far as friends. But that's as far as it goes. We're just friends. That's about it, you know. Politics, I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do this, keep doing what I'm doing. Just bring sports over there to see the world, let the world know that, hey, I'm just all about sports and trying to connect two countries together. That's it.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense. Dennis Rodman saves the world. That would be a fitting end to the story, wouldn't it? I mean, fitting into the story. Dennis Rodman saves the world.
Save the world, man. Dennis Rodman, of all people, my God. You know, I puff daddy and them like that. You see that?
Yeah. Scotty?
I was with Scotty's show today, that jump. Isn't that amazing, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's probably the first time I've ever done something like this. Scottie Pippen signed my jersey. You know, come on now.
All right.
Get it to my son. He got a lot of these guys' jersey. But I'm thanking ESPN for doing a great job in my career and my life in this, the 30 for 30. Thank you guys for doing this for me.
Promise you last question.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you want people to know about you when they watch this film? After they watch this film, what do you want them to know about you?
I think that my life and soul and my heart is all about for people. I care about people. And I just want people to understand that money and fame didn't drive Dennis to be who he is today. It's to love the fact that the people love me and I love them. And I want to give back anything I have to help people, the homeless people, the people in hospitals, people around the world. I don't care. Whatever I have to do to form that bridge and that gap, to make amends for everything that anyone has done in life. As far as me, that's why I look at it. I want to help people around the world. That's my whole thing, when people remember that Dennis actually cares about people.
All right. It's a fascinating watch, the new 30 for 30 film of Dennis Rodman. Check it out. Hey, man, it's great talking to you.
Always love, baby. Thank you.
All right. You got it.